Play there.
We've always been good friends. Me and Kick have always have been friends since middle school, and something about it, we just all came together. And it's not just people tend to think that bands are just best friends and all this stuff, and that's not always true with a lot of bands. It really isn't. People see them up on stage every night and just assume that. But with us, I mean, it really is. We really are like the best friends I've ever had in my whole life, and that we've been through a lot of stuff to need to lean on each other. We all go through things individually, but as a collective, we've all gone through a lot of trial, and so to be able to come together and be together, it's really important to us. Anthony and I were on the phone trying to figure out a name for the album, and we were scrolling through books, both of us, and he was turning through Hunter S. Thompson, and he just goes, "What about Out of the Blue?" And I was like, "Yes, absolutely, that's it." So I called Dylan. Dylan was super stoked about it. He called Kick. Kick was stoked about it, and I called him back. I said, "What'd Kick say?" He said he loved it, and he's like, "What'd Dylan say?" He's like, "He loved it." So we just all agreed that's what it was. And it makes sense. Dan, Luke, and the Raid, Out of the Blue, our first record. So, yeah.
So what about the album cover? Who designed it?
Dylan and I, another phone conversation. We were talking about we'd try a few things, and we were just like, I don't know if it really is the embodiment of the music, if it fits the music. And so Dylan was like, "What about something simple, like a chair?" And I was like, "Yeah, totally." And I was just like, "What about like a blue school chair, like a chair from elementary school, high school, middle school?" And he was like, "Absolutely." So we found this chair. We've lost people, and as I've mentioned, Dylan was our guitarist, and he passed away recently, along with many other friends, including Billy Swayze, who ran this studio in Tiger Merritt, who lived here, and he'd make little stuff all the time. But that we definitely have them in mind when we do this, to keep going, not just for ourselves, but even though we do love it, but for them and to remember them. And we talked about the chair, and that's kind of, You know, it didn't have any meaning. It was just, we just thought it'd be a cool looking thing, but now it's kind of like this empty chair that, you know, who's sitting there? And we definitely have Dylan in mind in that, and we want to keep going, and we're so glad to have something with his name and his work